Welcome to this training session, Moving Past Timeout and Treasure Box Strategies, Building Connection, Not Control. In this session, we are going to explore why some traditional discipline methods fall short in helping young children learn and grow, and what we can do instead to nurture meaningful, lasting, positive behavior. Many of us were taught to use timeouts, behavior charts, and treasure boxes, assuming they would help children become well-behaved. But research and experience show us these techniques may have unintended negative consequences and sometimes address only the surface of behavioral struggles. This session will challenge some familiar practices, but will also empower you with effective alternatives. Our focus is on strategies that emphasize empathy, connection, and teaching skills, rather than controlling or managing children's behavior. We will work together to reflect on our beliefs about discipline, learn about children's true developmental needs, and gain tools that help build trusting relationships in your classroom or program. Let's create an environment where children are respected, safe, and guided gently towards self-control. At the end of this session, I want you to feel more confident and inspired in your role as a nurturing guide. This training is made possible by the Governor's Office of Early Childhood. This training session will cover several questions and topics. Why rethink discipline? What timeouts and treasure boxes really teach? Developmental needs and brain science, positive alternatives to traditional discipline, and real classroom strategies and reflections are all included in this session. Behavior management isn't just about getting through the day. It's about shaping lifelong attitudes and emotional health. Many child care professionals are searching for approaches that reinforce positive behavior without degrading children's sense of self. We will explore not only what doesn't work well, but why these techniques may not address the core needs of young children. This session explores how shifting our mindset and practices can also transform classroom culture. I hope you feel empowered and equipped with fresh ideas by the end of the session. Think about a challenge you're facing with discipline. As we move through the slides, you'll likely find new solutions to try. The first goal of this session is to help you understand and clearly explain why timeout and treasure box approaches can be either ineffective or sometimes even harmful when working with young children. Next, we will identify the emotional and developmental needs that these traditional methods often overlook. Knowing what children really need is the foundation for any guidance strategy. We will then focus on practical tools and techniques, ones that are both respectful and effective in promoting lasting positive behaviors rather than temporary compliance. You will also learn to compare traditional management with newer approaches that foster self-regulation and intrinsic motivation, helping children do the right thing because they want to. Finally, you'll have time to reflect on your own values, beliefs, and personal history with discipline. You can begin or continue shaping your own guidance philosophy based on developmental science and healthy relationships. Each of these objectives is designed to make your work both easier and more impactful, better outcomes for children, and less stress for you. This session is about building your confidence as a guide and mentor to children. Let's begin by questioning whether our current methods are working as effectively as we would like. Ask yourself, are timeouts, behavior charts, or reward systems resulting in the kinds of long-term skills and relationships we value? Many of us were trained to seek compliance or order, often as quickly as possible. But what outcomes do we truly want for children? Do we want just outward obedience, or do we hope children develop empathy, problem-solving skills, and genuine self-control? Research increasingly shows that while traditional discipline may offer short-term results, it often fails to promote the lifelong skills children actually need. Moreover, these strategies can sometimes hurt the bond between the child and the caregiver, making future guidance even harder. Reflect for a minute on what discipline means to you. Is it about control or about teaching? When you reevaluate your approach, you open possibilities for greater understanding, fewer power struggles, and classrooms filled with respect and cooperation. Your willingness to rethink discipline is the first step toward positive change for both you and the children in your care. Before moving forward, let's clarify what we mean by timeout and treasure box techniques. Timeout refers to removing a child from an activity or group as a consequence for unwanted behavior. Usually, it involves isolation. It is often thought of as a chance for the child to calm down, but for many, it feels more like rejection or punishment. The treasure box strategy involves giving children tangible rewards, such as small toys, treats, stickers, for meeting certain behavioral expectations, often tracked by a chart or a point system. Both approaches are extremely common in educational and childcare settings, rooted in the idea that consequences or rewards will shape behavior. On the surface, these techniques may seem effective. Children may temporarily improve their behavior. However, research and lived experience suggest otherwise in many cases. We need to ask, are we teaching children the skills and understanding they need, or just manipulating behavior? What messages do kids receive from these approaches? By understanding what we're currently doing, we can begin to envision a better way. Timeout is intended as a logical consequence, but for most children, especially the youngest, it feels much more like rejection than guidance. Rather than thinking about what they did wrong, children often focus on feeling excluded from the group and from the adult they rely on for emotional security. This sense of disconnection can create anxiety or even shame, which gets in the way of learning better ways to behave. Children may come to believe that when they have big feelings or make a mistake, they should cope alone rather than reaching out for help. Timeout can also reinforce negative labels, such as "I am bad," rather than helping kids see that behavior can change and that they are still loved. Instead of learning how to problem solve or manage their own impulses, children may become resentful or defensive. Repeated timeouts can escalate negative feelings and lead to power struggles, with children defying or avoiding adult guidance altogether. What children actually need in moments of stress is an adult's calm, present support to help them to learn to regulate emotions and repair relationships. Isolating a child removes the very resources they need to grow. Numerous research studies over the last 2 decades have shown that timeouts and extrinsic rewards rarely lead to sustainable, healthy changes in behavior. Timeouts may reduce immediate disruption, but often create feelings of isolation, anxiety, and resentment in children. Reward systems, on the other hand, can reduce children's natural motivation and focus their attention only on external outcomes. What do I get instead of how do I feel about my choice? These methods frequently fail to teach underlying skills such as empathy, self-regulation, or conflict resolution. Moreover, children who experience repeated timeouts or rewards may fail to internalize the lessons that adults are hoping to teach. Research also shows that punishment can raise stress hormones, making it harder for children to access the thinking part of their brains. Treasure boxes may contribute to unhealthy competition and even jealousy or exclusion within a group. Children may become dependent on external motivations and lose interest when the rewards are no longer offered. Ultimately, the science tells us that lasting behavioral change comes from feeling safe, connected, and valued, not from control or bribery. Treasure boxes and other external rewards may seem like a positive way to shape behavior, but they come with serious downsides. First, they teach children to behave well only when there is something in it for them, a prize, a sticker, or a treat. Children begin to ask themselves, what do I get if I do this? Rather than, is this the right thing to do? This focus on external motivation undermines the development of intrinsic motivation, or doing well simply because it feels right and good. Reward systems can foster unhealthy competition, as children compare their rewards and feel jealous or excluded if they do not receive a reward. For some children, being at the bottom of a reward chart can be humiliating and discouraging, reinforcing negative behaviors. Rather than building a cohesive classroom community, treasure boxes may create rivalry and resentment among peers. Children may game the system, negotiating, trading, or manipulating to earn rewards, which can distract from true learning and growth. Over time, when rewards are discontinued, children's positive behavior often decreases as well, showing that the lesson hasn't truly taken root. Ultimately, this approach overlooks emotional needs and fails to teach social, emotional, or problem-solving skills. Young children are naturally driven to seek autonomy. They want to feel a sense of control and competence in their world. When adults rely heavily on external controls, such as rewards and punishments, children may push back, seeking to reclaim some of that lost power. This can lead to persistent battles of will, with children testing limits or refusing to comply simply to assert themselves. For some, this takes the form of open defiance, while others become more strategic, manipulating charts or rewards to get what they want. These power struggles quickly escalate, increasing frustration on both sides and damaging the adult-child relationship. Rather than teaching responsibility or empathy, power struggles reinforce a dynamic of control and resistance. Over time, these experiences can erode trust, making it even harder to teach or guide children through challenging moments. Instead of bribing the child into cooperation and learning, adults and children become locked in a contest of authority. A key question to consider is, how can we shift from winning power struggles to sharing power and responsibility? Connection, not control, is a more effective foundation for influencing behavior. As we move forward, we will consider the long-term effects of these traditional methods and why lasting change starts with connection. The most significant concern with traditional discipline methods is their potential to undermine the development of skills that children need for lifelong success. When we focus only on short-term compliance, we miss opportunities to teach coping, problem solving, and emotional expression. Repeated use of timeouts and rewards may mean children never learn to manage their own feelings or make thoughtful choices without external prompts. Over time, children may come to rely on adults to control or motivate them, rather than developing independence. This lack of internal guidance makes them vulnerable to peer pressure or poor decisions as they grow older. Strained relationships between adults and children may also develop, leading to less effective guidance and less willingness to seek help in times of need. Children can develop shame or resentment, feeling like bad kids, rather than capable learners who can grow and change. The ultimate cost is to children's self-worth, emotional resilience, and their ability to relate positively with others. When traditional strategies strain relationships, they undermine the trust essential for learning. We need to use guidance approaches that help children feel connected, capable, and confident in making good choices. At its core, all behavior is communication, and children's challenging moments are signals of unmet emotional needs. Connection is perhaps the most powerful need. Children thrive when they feel seen, valued, and emotionally close to the adults who care for them. When children feel understood and accepted, even with their big feelings, they are more receptive to guidance and correction. Validation of their emotions helps build trust and encourages them to share openly, rather than hiding their struggles or lashing out. Children need co-regulation. That is, adults who stay calm and present when kids are distressed, helping them regulate their own nervous systems. A sense of belonging and being cared for helps children build resilience and self-esteem. When emotional needs are met, children behave better, not because they are controlled, but because they feel safe and secure. If instead adults respond mainly with punishment or bribes, children can feel anxious and uncertain, always wondering if their value depends on being good. By focusing only on outward behavior, we risk overlooking what children are actually seeking: connection, comfort, understanding. Building emotional safety is foundational to any lasting behavioral support. Understanding children's developmental capacities is crucial when considering effective guidance strategies. Self-control doesn't emerge fully formed. It develops gradually throughout childhood and even into adolescence. Young children, especially those under age 5, are still learning to manage impulses. They often act before they think. Their brains are not wired yet for long-term planning or thinking about consequences. Their reactions are based solely on emotion and immediate needs. Expecting young children to know better or use adult-level reasoning is unrealistic and sets everyone up for disappointment. Frustration, fatigue, hunger, or overstimulation can make it even harder for kids to make good choices. Every meltdown or misstep is an opportunity to teach, not punish. It's an opportunity to teach children as their brains build pathways for self-regulation. Adults who remain calm and present during difficult moments are modeling regulation skills that children will absorb over time. Punishment and rewards may dictate behavior in the short term, but do little for true developmental progress. We need to ask, what does this child's brain need from me in this moment, rather than how can I make this stop? By taking the long view, we invest in healthier, more capable children. Let's reframe misbehavior as communication. Children often express what they cannot yet put into words. When a child acts out, they might be signaling hunger, fatigue, confusion, or a need for connection. Rarely are they just being bad. It's our job as adults to look beneath the surface of challenging behavior and ask, what is this child trying to tell me? Harsh discipline may silence the behavior, but fails to address the underlying cause, making it likely to return. Empathy allows us to see difficult behavior not as a test of authority, but as an opportunity for connection and teaching. When a child feels safe enough to express their feelings, we can help them label and process those emotions. This strengthens their capacity for future self-regulation and improves your relationship for the long haul. Instead of contributing to shame, we offer tools for coping with big feelings. It is normal for kids to act out sometimes, especially during times of stress, transition, or if their needs are unmet. Seeing misbehavior as a form of communication changes our response from punishment to guidance and support. Traditional methods like control, punishment, and external rewards focus on short-term compliance and often ignore the why behind behavior. They prioritize adult authority and quick fixes over teaching important social and emotional skills. In contrast, positive guidance aims to involve children in understanding and resolving their behavior, with an emphasis on connection and inclusion. The focus shifts from what children do wrong to how we can help them succeed and feel supported. Traditional approaches may emphasize obedience. Positive guidance emphasizes understanding and skill building. Children guided in this way are more likely to develop a sense of responsibility, empathy, and self-worth. It's not about letting kids get away with bad behavior, but teaching the skills and understanding they need to change it. When children feel respected and understood, they cooperate more eagerly and develop stronger internal controls. As you look at this comparison, reflect on which outcomes you want in your own practice. Let's consider what motivates children: obedience or true cooperation. There is an important difference between simple obedience and genuine cooperation. Obedience often stems from fear of punishment or desire for a reward and does not require understanding or agreement. The kind of compliance tends to be short-lived, breaking down when children no longer fear the consequence or crave the prize. In contrast, cooperation is voluntary and based on empathy. Children help out or follow rules because they see and value their part in the group. When we nurture cooperation, children are more likely to internalize the behavior and repeat it because it feels right, not just because they are being watched. A trusting, respectful relationship is the foundation for real cooperation. Children want to work alongside adults they respect and feel respected by. Cultivating cooperation helps kids make good choices even when adults aren't watching, an important goal for long-term self-regulation. Think about instances in your classroom. Which wins tend to last beyond your direct instructions? What do you notice about children's motivation in your setting? Imagine the possibilities if every child wanted to contribute positively because they felt part of something larger. Connection is truly the foundation for all positive behavior and learning. Children who feel valued, seen, and loved by their caregivers are more open to learning and more receptive to guidance. A strong connection encourages trust, making it easy for adults to influence, teach, and redirect when needed. When children feel emotionally safe, their stress levels drop and their brains are ready to learn new skills. Connection is built through consistent, caring presence, empathy, active listening, and meaningful engagement with the child's world. When we rush to punishment or reward without building trust, we lose opportunities for deeper teaching moments. A positive relationship does not mean permissiveness. It means children know you're on their side even when limits must be set. Connection says to a child, "You matter to me no matter what." This assurance makes difficult conversations easier and helps children recover from mistakes more quickly. Make it your goal to connect before you correct. Co-regulation means helping children calm down and regain control of their emotions and behaviors by sharing your own calm, regulated state. Rather than leaving a distressed child alone, you stay nearby, offering comfort, gentle guidance, and a model for managing big feelings. This experience helps wire children's brains for self-regulation as they mature. When you stay present and calm, you send the message that difficult feelings are manageable and mistakes are opportunities to learn, not reasons for shame. Co-regulation might involve a soft tone of voice, open body language, or even just sitting quietly beside a child who is upset. Touch, eye contact, and words like, "I'm here with you," can all help a distressed child feel safe. As children watch adults self-regulate under stress, they begin to imitate those behaviors in their own moments of upset. It takes time, repetition, and patience, but this is how real emotional growth happens. When we are dysregulated ourselves, it's almost impossible for children to calm down. They need adults who can anchor them emotionally. Remember, kids borrow our calm before they can create it themselves. This is the heart of positive relationship-based discipline. Emotion coaching is the practice of noticing, naming, and validating children's feelings, then guiding them toward healthy ways of expressing those emotions. Instead of ignoring or dismissing big feelings, you help children identify them. "I see you're sad because your friend left," or "You're angry you had to stop playing." Validation doesn't mean you ignore limits. It means you understand why a child feels the way they do, even when their behavior is not okay. Once a child's feelings are named and accepted, their brain moves from fight or flight to a place where learning is possible. You can then gently guide the child to better choices. "You're upset, but hitting isn't safe. Let's use our words or take a break together." With repeated support, children learn that emotions are normal and manageable. They become better equipped to recognize their own feelings and express them in words, not just actions. This doesn't happen in one or two conversations. It's a gradual process that requires patience and consistency. Emotion coaching helps prevent future outbursts and build your relationship through shared understanding. Try to see every emotional moment as an opportunity to teach, not just a disruption. Proactive strategies can dramatically reduce the frequency and intensity of challenging behavior in your classroom. Anticipate possible triggers. Does a certain time of day, activity, or setting often lead to difficulties? Simple steps like ensuring children aren't hungry, tired, or overstimulated can prevent many problems. It's important to clearly communicate expectations and create visual schedules or routines to help children know what to expect. When you offer choices within limits, do you want to clean up first or put on your shoes first? These boost cooperation and reduce resistance. Consistent routines help children feel secure and less anxious about transitions or changes. Make sure to plan ahead for activities that may be stressful and offer reassurance or support. Always provide advance warnings, such as 5 more minutes before we put toys away. This helps children prepare for transitions. Tune into signals that a child is becoming dysregulated and intervene early with connection or distraction. Prevention is not about avoiding all problems. but about giving children tools and structures to succeed. Being proactive allows you to teach more and put out fires less. One of the most powerful tools you have is your presence. Staying close to a child who is struggling can be calming and reassuring. Physical proximity communicates, "I'm here for you," in a way that words alone cannot. Children's bodies and brains respond to adult presence by lowering stress hormones, allowing for calmer, clearer thinking. When a child is about to lose control, your nearness can help prevent an escalation. A gentle tone and open body language encourage children to come to you for support, rather than withdrawing in shame or fear. Contrast this with sending a child away. They lose access to your help when they need it the most. Staying close doesn't mean ignoring unsafe behavior. It means addressing it with calm and compassion. You can say, "I'm right here. I see you're upset. We can get through this together." Over time, children learn to associate difficult moments with support instead of punishment. This builds trust, and trust is the foundation for all other positive changes. Offering choices is a powerful strategy in positive guidance because it meets one of the fundamental needs of young children, the need for autonomy. When we provide children with reasonable choices, we communicate respect for their ability to think and make decisions. This sense of control is essential for their emotional development and helps reduce resistance. By giving two appropriate options, for example, "Do you want to clean up the blocks or the crayons first?" we direct defiance into cooperation. Instead of issuing a command, we're inviting them to participate in a solution. This technique prevents power struggles because it allows children to feel empowered rather than controlled. Over time, offering choices strengthens a child's confidence and problem-solving skills. It teaches them to weigh options, make decisions, and understand the consequences of their actions, all key life skills. Additionally, choices promote internal motivation. When children make their own decisions, they are more likely to follow through because they've had a role in the outcome. It shifts behavior guidance from adult-imposed control to child-driven cooperation, which builds mutual respect in the classroom. Finally, offering choices shows that we trust children's abilities and perspectives, which reinforces a positive self-image and encourages respectful communication. Everyone makes mistakes, children and adults alike, and ruptures in relationships can and will happen. Repair means acknowledging what went wrong, taking responsibility, and reconnecting after difficult moments. If you lose your temper or make a mistake, a simple apology goes a long way. You can say, "I'm sorry I raised my voice. I got frustrated, but I do care about you." This models for children how to make amends and encourage them to do the same. It's important to reconnect with warmth after conflict. A smile, a gentle touch, or invitation to start fresh restores trust and safety. Teach children that mistakes don't mean the relationship is broken forever. Everyone gets a second chance. Repair and reconnect reinforce the idea that love and acceptance do not depend on perfect behavior. Over time, this helps create a classroom climate where children feel safe to try, fail, and grow. After conflicts, prioritize repair over consequences. This is where the most powerful teaching happens. Encourage children to take responsibility for their own actions too. What can we do to make the things right with your friend? Modeling and supporting repair helps build resilience and strong social skills. Let's put these ideas into practice with a real-life scenario. Imagine a child hits another child during play. Traditional discipline might dictate an immediate timeout or removal from the group, focusing on punishment rather than understanding. But let's pause and ask, what's the underlying cause? Is the child tired, frustrated, lacking the words to express needs, or overwhelmed by group play? Instead of isolating, a relationship-based approach would start with co-regulation, offering calm presence and empathy. You might say, I see you're upset. Hitting hurts. Let's take some deep breaths together and then we will talk about what happened. Once everyone is calm, you can help the child put their feelings into words and brainstorm better ways to handle conflict. This approach prioritizes the child's learning and emotional safety over compliance. No one is perfect at positive guidance techniques from the start. It's a journey for all of us. Colleagues can be an amazing resource, supporting each other, sharing what works, and normalizing the challenges of discipline in early childhood settings. You can discuss with peers what has worked for you when moving away from timeout and rewards. Always share setbacks as well as successes, and brainstorm solutions for difficult moments. You might even consider setting up peer observations, group reflections, or check-ins to keep new skills fresh and share accountability. Learning together reduces feelings of isolation and self-doubt. Everyone has tough days and new problems to solve. The more you encourage collaboration and open communication, the stronger your team and your classroom culture will become. Remember, children benefit most when the adults in their environment are supportive of one another. Modeling collaboration for children reinforces the idea that everyone is learning and growing, including adults. Always make time for ongoing professional development and encourage curiosity and experimentation. Supporting each other helps everyone stay committed to compassionate, developmentally appropriate guidance techniques. Take a moment to reflect on your own personal history with discipline. What strategies or approaches did adults use with you as a child? When you remember those experiences, how did they make you feel? Safe, anxious, empowered, resentful, connected? Think about how those early lessons might influence your reactions and choices with children in your care today. You can ask yourself, what did I appreciate about these strategies? And what would I do differently? Now consider what you want children in your classroom to remember about you when they look back as adults. Do you hope they remember you as someone who listened, understood, and helped them learn from mistakes? Or as someone who simply managed their behavior? Take a few minutes to write down your thoughts. Even if discipline wasn't positive for you growing up, you have the power to create a new legacy for the children in your care. Building a clear, intentional philosophy of guidance is critical for consistent, thoughtful practice. You can start by choosing a few key words that resonate with you: connection, trust, relationship, growth, maybe empathy. Write a short statement or vision about how you want to respond to children's challenging behaviors. Consider what you believe about children, what they need from adults, and how learning happens best. For an example, I believe children learn best when they feel safe and connected. My role is to guide them through challenges with empathy, patience, and respect. Reflect on how your philosophy aligns with your daily actions and decisions in the classroom. If there's a gap, that's okay. Awareness is the first step to making changes. Revisit your statement regularly and update it as your understanding grows. Having a written philosophy helps guide you during stressful moments when old habits might resurface. Your philosophy can also inspire your colleagues and set the tone for your entire program. Remember, change happens gradually. Every small step you take toward positive guidance makes a difference. You can choose one new strategy from this training session to try in your classroom over the next week. It could be co-regulation, emotion coaching, giving more choices, or making time for repair after conflict. Notice what changes, not just in behavior, but in your own feelings and the quality of the relationships with the children. Don't expect perfection or immediate results. Skills and new habits take time to develop. Reflect regularly on what's working, what's still challenging, and where you might need more support. Invite feedback from children, your colleagues, or parents about what they notice. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small, and be gentle with yourself through setbacks. Building a new approach is a process that will ultimately benefit both you and the children in your care. Remember, every child deserves respect, compassion, and guidance, and so do you as a professional. Continuing your professional development ensures you stay informed and inspired as new research and tools emerge. These 3 books are wonderful starting places for anyone seeking more insight into effective relationship-based discipline. No Drama Discipline explains how caregivers can understand brain development and guide children with empathy and clarity. Punished by Rewards challenges the widespread use of external motivators and promotes strategies for building intrinsic motivation. The Emotional Life of a Toddler offers a deep dive into the daily realities of young children's experience and makes their intense feelings easier to understand and work with. Many of these authors also have websites, articles, and videos with further practical advice. You can also look for local workshops, discussion groups, or training courses to continue deepening your skills. The more you learn, the more confident and creative you will feel in supporting every child. Remember, learning is lifelong for adults as much as children. Thank you for participating in this training session and for your commitment to positive, respectful guidance for children. I appreciate your openness to rethinking familiar methods and your willingness to try new strategies, even when it feels challenging. Building connection, not control, takes courage, dedication, and patience, but it can transform your classroom culture and the lives of the children you care for. No one has all the answers. Together, we learn and grow. Your reflections, insights, and support for others are what make this community strong. Remember that lasting change is a journey. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Thank you again for your dedication to nurturing bright, emotionally healthy children. Let's keep building supportive, connected classrooms.